All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for coming. In typical high-quality Union Township way, we've left the first 3 rows empty. But the back row is not occupied by the normal suspects. So we're going to get going with our candidate forum. And I'm going to first start by, if you can advance here's the agenda for the candidate forum. So I'm calling the candidate forum meeting to order. I'm already live streaming this on the Union Township Republican Committee Facebook page and the Western Clermont County Republican Club Facebook page. Anybody online listening, we've already had questions submitted by people in the audience. We've already had the questions organized, and we are now going to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance before we get started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so if you can go back one chart, Andy, just to where the agenda is. One more. One more. Yeah. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is Mark is on his way. I'm going to call the roll since Mark is not here yet. And then we're going to start the Q&A. Andy is going to moderate the Q&A. He is playing the role of Chip Hart. Chip Hart could not make it tonight. So hopefully in the future, Chip will be able to make it again. He does a great job. But I'm sure Andy will do a great job as well. We will have a handout sheet to rate Andy versus Chip Hart at the end of the. I'm just kidding. So I'm going to call the names of the people I think are here. And if you could just acknowledge that you're here. Debbie Seagroth, John McGraw, Tim Walker, Neil Maurer, Andy Capel, Ray Henninger, John Lips, Dora Murphy, Steve Leahy, Joe Wolfer, Chris Hicks here, Mike Walker, Jody Beamer, Julia Carney, Matt Beamer, Bill Thomas, Magda Dawson. Did I leave anybody who is a part of the committee out? Yes, I did not check you off, Jude. Our long-running feud where I don't check you off is continuing. So Jude DeWitt is here as well. And there's a few people that told me they were, I think they're mostly here, that we're going to come be a little bit late. So again, the forum is intended. I want to first thank, I think we should have a round of applause for Tim Rudd for agreeing to be here at this forum tonight. Hopefully we have a great set of professional questions to ask Tim during this event. Neil has sorted them out. Dora conveniently showed up right after I think Neil got done sorting them out, right? So that she didn't have to help. So thank you, Neil, for sorting out the questions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Andy to moderate the question and answer that's going to start with Tim Rudd making opening remarks.
Good evening, everybody. How are we tonight? We're going to start off with Tim Rudd taking 3 to 5 minutes with an intro. We're going to go to questions, and Tim will follow up with about 3 minutes to conclude.
Hi, I'm Tim Rudd. I'm running for county auditor.
Don't have my cheaters on, so it's a little challenging to turn it on. I'm Tim Rudd. I'm running for county auditor. First, I want to thank the Union Township Republican Central Committee for inviting me and hosting this event. I'm running for county auditor to provide Clermont County with a full-time county auditor. I believe that when a person is elected to a county-wide office, that they should show up and do the job. This county has over 200,000 citizens, and the job pays over $100,000. I firmly believe that a countywide elected official should show up and do the job. I have experience as an elected official. I did 3 terms as the clerk of the Clermont County Municipal Court. I understand how to manage an elected official's office. I've handled about every type of personnel issue you can imagine. The clerk's office is a highly complex office. I think most people think of the clerk's office as simply being a record keeper. But what we are also is we are the bookkeeper for the court. So in effect, what we do is we take in the funds, a function on the county level that is done by the county treasurer, but we also do the accounting, which is the function of the county auditor. So each year, my office took in millions of dollars. I had to make sure that the cash and the funds balanced. And then on the accounting end, I had to make sure that they got dispersed into the various county, private, and state funds that the ORC mandated. I'm ready and prepared to be your county auditor with my elected experience. And I look forward to participating in this forum and answering any questions that you guys may have. Did I end too quick for you?
You did. It was only 1 minute and 33 seconds. All right, we're going to start off with the questions. I ran through them quickly. There's a couple of them that are pretty much the same, but we're still going to ask them anyway, just to be fair. This first one is about office operation. What operational problems does the office currently have? What could you do to do better?
Actually, I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I said it, I believe, at the Clermont County Central Committee. The Clermont County Auditor's Office runs very well. I had to combat rumor early on that I was going to go in and clean house, and I can assure you that is not my intention. My intention is to keep every employee that is doing their current job as long as they're doing it well. The problem with the Clermont County Auditor's Office is that the Clermont County Auditor does not come to work. And as my signs say, I will show up. And I know in her first mailer, her first general mailer that went out, she claimed that showing up isn't enough. But I can tell you what, you can talk to any management guru, and what they will tell you is that showing up is 90% of the battle. And I believe that when the Clermont County electorate elect you to a county-wide office, it's your job to show up at the office and do the job.
Thank you. This is about office management. When in office, will you recruit your staff for political activities such as poll worker for your campaign?
Never did. As clerk of the Clermont County Municipal Court, I forbade my employees, except one, which was exempt, and he hadn't worked for me for the past 5 or 6 years. None of my workers worked polls. I did not have my workers doing political events.
Okay, thank you. This is about employees. Will you hire family members?
Absolutely not. I will not only not hire family members, I will not hire ex-family members. I have a rule. I know Julia Carney would appreciate this from the prosecutor's office, but I have a rule in hiring. My rule is I don't hire anybody I can't fire. So that eliminates family members. That eliminates close friends. I've had the wives of close friends apply at my previous job at the clerk's office, and I wouldn't even call them in for an interview. I don't hire anybody I can't fire. That's simple rule.
Thank you. What are you referring to when you stated all employees will be required to be in the office, not work from home? Question.
I think it's a pretty plain statement. I mean, currently I can tell you from experience at being in the clerk and as elected in the clerk's office, we deal a lot with the auditor's office. The clerk's office, I didn't have a bank. That was a decision made by David Cottle back in '96 to take the banking functions of the clerk's office inside both the treasurer and the county auditor. So daily money from the clerk, from both clerk's offices, is deposited with the treasurer's department. And then we send over the accounting out of ours so that the accounting in the auditor's office would match it. Could you repeat it? Because I got going and then. Oh, the work from home.
Yes.
I can tell you from being the clerk, when I would call down there, there were certain individuals that were not at work, they were working from home. And I know it's sort of a trend in industry and stuff to work from home. But I can also tell you that during COVID, I grew very frustrated, even with my private vendors, my private software vendors, case management vendors, because I don't care who you are. When you're at home, you get distracted by this, that, and the other, whether it's the kids, the dogs, the TV, whatever. So when I become auditor, all management is going to report to work so that they can better serve the Clermont County citizens.
Thank you. Other than many years of experience as an elected official, what specific qualifications do you have for the auditor position? That's question one. The second one is, are you a CPA? And to follow, do you have real estate experience?
Okay.
I'll read it to you again. First one is, what qualifications do you have for the auditor position?
Okay, qualifications for the auditor's office. And partly I've already covered that in that as clerk of the Clermont County Municipal Court, I was responsible for taking in, and when I say let me go back and say my office, because I didn't do the work. My clerks did the work. I made sure that they were trained well to do the work. So my office took in millions of dollars each year. We had to make sure that the money balance, something that the auditor doesn't have to do. And I had to make sure that it went into the various different accounts as mandated by the Ohio Revised Code on the state and local level, to the state funds, to local funds, and to private funds. Furthermore, my background before being hired by the previous clerk of courts was financial. I hold an honors degree in economics from the University of Cincinnati, where I graduated Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude. I was a management trainee at the Citizens Bank of Higginsport, one of the last small private banks going. And for 8 years prior to being hired by the clerk of courts, I was a tax commissioner agent for the Ohio Department of Taxation. And 2/3 to 3/4 of my time, I was auditing large firms in the Cincinnati and Clermont County area to make sure that they were in compliance with the sales tax laws of the state of Ohio.
Thirdly, do you have real estate experience?
I own real estate. I own about 180 acres, but as far as if you're asking as far as evaluations and stuff, no. But I'll make this statement. Every office that you go into has specialized knowledge. When I started in the clerk's office, I knew absolutely nothing about the clerk's office. I'm a quick study and a quick learner. That'd be like asking somebody if my opponent was here, what is the proper fine distribution for a traffic ticket written by the sheriff's office? I can tell you that off the top of my head. What is the elements of probable cause for a criminal complaint or traffic complaint warrant? I can tell you that off of the top of my head. What is a civil case regarding replevin? Can anybody here answer any of those questions? I can. So every office that you go into has a certain set of specialized knowledge. Am I an expert in the auditor's office? No. But I was a very good elected official as clerk of the Clermont County Municipal Court, and I can guarantee you I will be a very good elected county auditor.
I've got two of them that are similar, but we're just going to ask them anyway. Okay. Skills and experience. Please tell us why you think you have better skills, experience, etc. than Linda.
I have never claimed to have better skills or better experience than Linda. And I'm not going to claim that. I know that she touts a CPA, and I don't know if that was part of the last one that I did not address. I am not a CPA. The law does not require you to be a CPA to be county auditor. The Warren County auditor, a county larger than we are, is not a CPA. Dusty Rhodes, who has served either 28 or 32 years in Hamilton County, is not a CPA. I don't believe Dan Mr. Yost was a CPA. I don't believe Mr. Petro was a CPA, and I'm not sure that Mr. Faber's a CPA. All three of them auditors of state. So it's not required to be a CPA.
Skills and resume. What are a few specific reasons you feel better qualified to be auditor than your opponent?
Once again, when it comes to qualifications, I'm not going to sit here and argue regarding whether or not I have better qualifications than Linda. One, what I will say, though, is I'm going to show up and do the job. Secondly, what I'm going to say is I was a very good elected official as clerk of the Clermont County Municipal Court. I had the respect of everybody who used my office on a daily basis. I had the respect of the court, respect of my fellow elected officials. And I firmly believe that when you're elected to county office, it is your duty and obligation to show up and do the job. And that's what I'm willing to do.
Thank you. This again for qualifications. And I'm going to edit some of this. And if you want to read the question or anybody has any questions about it later, then I'll address it. Why do you want to be the auditor?
Why do I want to be the auditor? I think we're going around in the same circle over and over again. Because I do firmly believe that when you're elected to county office, you have a duty and obligation to show up. The current 7-term, 28-year incumbent does not show up for work. She simply doesn't. You can ask anybody in Batavia who is acquainted with the office, who watches her parking spot. She doesn't come to work. And if a person doesn't come to work, I have to believe that they are no longer interested in doing their job. I want to be county auditor because I believe that a county of 200,000 people who are paying a salary of over $100,000 deserves somebody who is going to show up to do the job. I'll show up. That's why my signs say I'll show up. And I really thought it would be hypocritical once the Union Township Republican Central Committee invited me to come tonight to be the candidate with the signs out there that says I'll show up and not show up. So I'm here, guys.
The second part of that question is, do you just want a job?
No. And it may be another question that's on there. Because I know last time I ran for an office, the question was, how long do you intend to serve? And I will tell you, I want no more than 2 terms, but in all probability, I'm just going to serve 1 term. Once again, you're going to hear the same mantra from me over and over again. I really believe that if you're elected to county-wide office, you should show up and do your job. I'll show up, guys. I don't need a job.
Why do you think you lost the clerk of courts race?
Well, we're sort of going off to the side here because the clerk's race has nothing to do with the auditor's race. Please. Basically, why I think I lost, if you look, the top 2 vote getters were extremely close. We're talking 72 votes. Those type of races also in the fall are very low turnout races. Anytime you get into a race that has multiple candidates, anything can happen. And if you go back and look at it county-wide, Mr. Velardo beat me because Mr. Velardo took Miami Township at 2-1 versus both me and Mr. Camphouse. He took 50% of the vote, and Paul and I split it at 25. You can't lose a big township like Miami Township at that rate and win. It's not going to happen. I've always done well in if you're asking politically, that's why. It was a 3-person race. And if you look at it, the votes almost split a third, and a third. Now, Ralph was a little further behind than me and Paul. But you have to say I accepted the results and moved on. I mean, you didn't hear me whining. You don't hear me crying. You don't hear me crying and whining now.
It's about TIFs. It's a 2-part question. Do you support county-driven TIFs?
County-driven TIFs. I was only aware of TIFs being done at the township level.
All right. The second part is, do you see a conflict of interest when the auditor sets values on TIFs done by the county? There again, same kind of question.
Let me say this about tax incentive districts. It is the General Assembly that created tax incentive districts. It is the townships which institute tax incentive districts. I don't believe that the county auditor has any business going into the townships and telling them how to administer their tax incentive districts. The General Assembly gave that decision to the local township trustees. And regardless of whether you love them or hate them, it is the local township trustees that are supposed to be making those decisions. And if any elected official wants that to change, what they need to be doing is they need to be talking to the members of the General Assembly, the state rep and the state senator.
Okay. This is on TIFs again. It seems some TIF properties in Union Township were valued lower. Would you consider auditing TIF properties to be sure they are valued properly?
Now, it's yes. I mean, I think number one, we need to make sure that all the property evaluations are correct. But it's interesting because I've heard from individuals who own properties with inside tax incentive districts, and they actually believe that their property evaluations were higher because of the current auditor's antipathy towards TIFs. So I sort of find that question a little, I guess there's 2 sides to every story.
This is about dog licenses. Our dog license system seems antiquated. Our shelter which it finds does not support cats. Now, would you improve the system, or how would you improve the system? Sorry.
And of course, the auditor has nothing to do with the pound itself, with the Humane Society itself. That is a function of the county auditors. It is interesting that when I first announced that I was running for auditor, some of the first concerns that I got from citizens were regarding dog licenses and the new online system that the auditor went to. There were concerns that I know out where I live, people used to go to their local hardware store or their local feed store and pick up their dog licenses. I know there were complaints about the amount of time that the third-party vendor that the auditor went with, the turnaround time on dog licenses. I know from my viewpoint, one of my concerns was that there was an option to mail in a check and get a dog license. So I thought I'd mail in a check and just get a dog license from the county auditor. Well, I mailed in the check, and all of a sudden I'm dealing with this third-party vendor. That one of the reasons I mailed in the check, I really didn't want the third-party vendor to have my pet's names or any information about my pet. And all of a sudden the third-party vendor has all that information. And every 2 weeks or maybe every week, I'm getting emails from this third-party vendor, and you can't unsubscribe from it. I mean, you're just getting bombarded. There has to be a better way to come up with an online system to sell dog licenses. I instituted credit card payments out at the municipal court, and can you imagine if everybody's email was getting bombarded from the vendor that I chose every time that you paid a traffic ticket? There has to be a better solution. Now, having said that, I don't know what the contract reads, so it may take some time, but okay. Thanks, Mike, or Tim. Oh, okay. I thought so.
Again, we're going with fees. Do you see any other fees like the dog licenses being outsourced?
No. No.
This one's on county finance. The county does not participate in the Ohio checkbook. Would you change that? Why or why not?
The Clermont County Auditor's Office has their own public checkbook. I can't give you the details of it, but that issue came up during the clerk's office because Mr. Velardo tried to hit me with that, but because, as I explained, the clerk's books are inside the county auditor's books. So anything I expend, anything is already, Mike could tell you what the website and everything is, I'm sure. But the Clermont County Auditor already, they don't participate in the open checkbook. What they have participated in, they already have it online. Now, could I review that once I got in office? Yes, but I'm not sure that there's any need to go to the open checkbook because it's already out there.
Two-part question. What do you think the auditor's office has done right and wrong on Zimmer, or Zimmer and Beckjord?
Well, right now, the way I understand it, I attended the last meeting that the vendor that now owns Zimmer had down at the Washington Township Trustee Building. Right now, it's my understanding that the auditor's office has the evaluation, and I can't give you the number, but what the vendor's claiming that they have it overvalued by about 80%. The current vendor is now trying to take that up to Columbus, to the Board of Tax Appeals, to have it reduced to 20% of its current value. But what it's also doing currently, it's sort of like polite blackmail. They're meeting with the New Richmond School Board because they're the biggest of about a half dozen entities that if they win their Board of Tax Appeals will have to pay back money that they've already spent. And the New Richmond School Board will have to pay back close to $2.5 million. And you can imagine what the impact is on that, on the school board. As far as I know, the auditor's office is sticking with its current assessment. So I don't know that I have any criticism of the auditor's office regarding.
Okay. This is the second part of that same question. Do you think the county should have gotten a more thorough appraisal?
I think that the county needs to do whatever, and part of these are not, it's not just an auditor question, but it's also a question dealing with the prosecutor's office and what the prosecutor's office is willing to do also in regards to the evaluation and standing up for the townships in the county at the Board of Tax Appeals. So if I was in those shoes, I would do everything possible to protect those political entities, because you're talking about $2.5 million, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, but you're talking about $2.5. That one sticks in your head. $2.5 million to the New Richmond School District. You're talking like $600,000 for Washington Township to pay back. You're talking $500,000 to $600,000 to Monroe Township to pay it back. I've attended their township meetings. Monroe Township is wondering if they're going to have enough money to fuel their fire trucks. They're worried about paving roads. With the increase in the fuel prices that we're seeing, the cost of blacktop, cost of diesel, the cost of gas is going up. And it's killing, I can tell you, it's killing every one of the townships. I hear the same thing when I've attended almost every township meeting that I've attended. And I know if it's killing them, it's got to be killing in the Richmond School District. So.
Last question, weights and measures. Would you support not having the name of the auditor on pumps and other stickers? I would guess gas pumps.
Once again, that's a legal. I think it's a good question. I mean, it sort of stumped me more than anything else because for close to 28 years, I've seen the same sticker on the gas pump. If you're a 44-year-old native Clermont Countyan who's always lived in Clermont County, you've seen the same sticker on the gas pump for your entire driving life. If you're asking if I have to have my sticker on every gas pump in Clermont County, no. I don't have to have my name on a sticker. Whether or not that's illegal, that it has to be, inspected and sealed by, may be a different question. So, right.
Since that was the last question, you can do your closing.
Well, I think I've made it clear why I'm running. I'm running because I believe that the county deserves a full-time auditor, somebody that will show up and do the job. What I want to do during part of my closing is address an allegation that my supporters keep getting thrown at, and I've had thrown at me a few times. It's been argued that I'm running out of revenge. I had lunch with the 7th-term, 28-year incumbent in early December at her request. And I can tell you it's not revenge because she assured me that she did not help any of my opponents. And I have to take the incumbent at her word. That was right before she offered me a full-time job if I wouldn't run. She asked me, does it have to be an elected position? Can I just create a declassified position and pay you like an elected official, and you can come and go as you want? You really won't have to do anything. Well, I'm here, guys, so you know the answer to that question. I'm running to be your full-time auditor. I believe that somebody who is elected to countywide office should show up and do the job. My signs make the argument. I'll show up. Once again, I thank you for asking me. I thank you for hosting it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Rudd, and thanks to everybody else.
All right, let's have one more round of applause to thank Tim Rudd for showing up tonight for this part of the forum. So we are not taking questions from the floor. I don't know what that gentleman's doing. So thank you, Mr. Rudd. Okay, but you're not her, so sorry. Thank you. Well, what are you? Who are you? Come down here. Come down here. You say it. Why don't you wait till you get down here so you can be on the microphone while we're live streaming? I'll hold the microphone for you.
Okay. My name is Bill Bryant.
Let's come over here. Okay. You have a whole notebook there, Bill.
It won't take that long. I'm a pretty fast reader, sir.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. First of all, I want you guys to know I try my best to live my life as a Christian.
What's your point relating to Linda Fraley?
What's my point? Let me tell you.
You said you had something to say on behalf of Linda.
Okay. I have known Linda Fraley for many years. What I like most about Linda is the great Christian lady that she is. That is number one. She is a hardworking person, a very honest and true person that can be trusted. She cares deeply about people. Mr. Rudd has on his campaign signs, "I will show up." Well, I'm sure that is maybe because she might be out of the office sometimes, but let me inform you that I know for a fact when Linda is out of the office, she is constantly on the phone talking, taking care of business that has been tested by many people. I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing. Linda has a great rapport with her fellow workers. If you want the best person in office, please vote for Linda Fraley. Also, dear Mr. Hicks, and I think that must be you. I have never met you or seen you before, okay? Why do you constantly harass Linda Fraley and her family? I am sorry for you, because with that kind of hatred, you must be a miserable person inside you self. I will pray for you as I love my life, as I live my life as a Christian. May God be with you.
Thank you to the Linda Fraley people that are here. So I appreciate those remarks. I don't believe that I've ever harassed Linda Fraley. What happens is that I have a condominium close to hers, and I happen to see her in Florida all the time. That makes me question when she's in Ohio. As it comes to Mr. Rudd and the comments that were read, Linda Fraley had every opportunity to show up here tonight. She had every opportunity to show up here tonight. We changed the date multiple times to enable her schedule. So she chose not to be here tonight, but I appreciate that there was somebody here to say something on her behalf and then personally attack me. So, okay. So I'm being accused from the audience, if you can't hear it on the live stream, of personally attacking Linda all the time. And I would encourage you to go check out the things that I've said about Linda. All right. Thank you.
I mean, this man doesn't like me. Go check his Facebook out. He does not like me. No, go. You're going to have to go back a few months. He's even included my family in an attack. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he also picks on me. I'm just saying he's an equal opportunity, hitter, whatever you want to say. So.
And I always think there's a lot of reaction to me, not based on the fact that supposedly I attack somebody's family or I make stuff up. It's because I put out stuff that's true that people don't want you to know. Okay. So go check out the stuff that people don't want you to know about the way that a lot of the politics happens in this county. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Rudd. Thank you, those of you who are not on the committee. This meeting is closed. And, well, I would entertain a motion to adjourn from somebody on our committee. We have a meeting right after this, so we're going right into a next meeting. So, okay, so Mr. Lips makes the motion. Jude DeWitt seconds. All in favor? All right. All opposed? All right, so we're adjourned at this meeting. And with that, I'm going to end the live stream, and we're going to immediately begin the other meeting. If anybody who is not part of the committee would like to stay, you're welcome to stay for our meeting. But otherwise, I want to thank people who have watched this candidate forum online. Thank you, everybody. And just a second, when I turn off the live stream, we'll begin the second meeting.